Welcome back, and in this segment we will be talking about preserving our national heritage and the idea of copyrighting our national heritage, that it won't be used by non-Egyptians, or at least to preserve it and preservements and the heritage to be kept with the Egyptian branding and name. And I'm happy to have with me the founder of this campaign, Dr. Ahmed Rashed, and he is director of the Sustainable and Future Studies Center. Welcome with us, Doctor.
Good morning, Dr. Ahmed. Dr. Ahmed, to start with, from your point of view and from the effort exerted by the center, to what extent we are capable of preserving our national heritage and culture?
This is one of the things which, if we are not going to keep our heritage and preserve our civilization on the right track, we are going to lose everything.
Indeed.
Because this is our identity. I think the campaign now is under the title of Civilization Rights to Build a Civilization. It is going, with this initiative now, we replaced the copyright or heritage, because the word copyright sometimes is not going to give us what we would like to achieve, especially on many of debates these days. Okay, so civilization rights. This is again a new. It's the word itself with the meaning will have a copyright. For the Egyptian identity.
The civilization itself.
The civilization rights. This is a new concept.
Yeah.
And this new concept, we are now in the process to have the copyright of the concept itself.
Yes.
So what is the concept itself? We inherited our civilization. We used to say that we are 7,000 years of civilization, whatever, all of this. But we should, in this day especially, behave on the way that we are equal to that civilization from one point of view of from our side, in all of our life, our daily life aspects. On the other hand, our civilization is respected by all over the world as one of the greatest civilization in the world, and that's why it's very unique. And that's why within the scientific notion, we have Egyptology as a science, itself. There is no Italiology, there is no USology, there is no Greekology, but there is Egyptology. And there is a kind of Egyptomania. There is a believer on our heritage, and they are very keen to do whatever what we could not expect it to survive our heritage. So that was kind of a gaming. I used to say that the future is a game, it's not a book. And within the future, we have to think what we are going, it is from our grandfathers, and we are living now to the grandsons. So we are in a situation that we have to work. If we have this great civilization, we would like to preserve it, as we said. But again, we should be compensated from those who already commercially benefit from our heritage.
How that could be done, Dr. Ahmed? Because unfortunately, we have been talking a lot about that.
Yes.
And many of our civilization rights, as I can say, were somehow kidnapped or used by different people all over the globe. And many of our artifacts, not only our civilization and concepts, were stolen as well. And yet nothing was done on the ground. So what measures should be taken on the ground now?
This is again why we have this kind of initiative. And we would like to use the scientific research, different aspects of scientific research from all disciplinary, to try to support the argument. I started that argument on myself. I did my PhD about Luxor and my master's, so it's now 33 years of studying. But the first time I have this kind of debate within my mind when I was visiting Luxor, Las Vegas, one a day. And have this kind of comparison between Luxor, Egypt versus Luxor, Las Vegas. So I started by 2003, 2004, within an international conference, and that was in Cordoba, Argentina, and it was run by the UNESCO. And I have this kind of paper between Luxor, Egypt versus Luxor, Las Vegas. And at that time, we are in a very good situation within our tourism in Egypt, but we have only 4 million tourists. On the other side, though already visited Las Vegas,
Yes, indeed.
50 million, 60 million per year, even if they are not going to use the hotel itself or the casino, but at least when they are visiting Luxor, Las Vegas, they have this kind. So that was the starting of the issue as a debate, to have this kind of questioning.
Now, how can we preserve our rights when Egypt is declared as an international cultural heritage site or a world heritage site? And being declared a World Heritage Site, in a sense, that means that it's not just our heritage, but now it's become more global. So how can we maintain our copyright with such declarations and with, of course, the modern laws?
This is part of the game. If we are going to say that it's a global heritage, so all the international community by the UN should support our heritage to be preserved. So this is something that's not going to be for us, it should be as
but
something.
But in that case, if we ask for the copyright of Las Vegas, they'll tell you, but it's World Heritage, it's allowed to anyone.
That's what I would like to say, that we have two different use of our heritage. It is just for educational, for knowledge, and for those who already commercial benefit. And this commercial benefit, I divided the heritage into 3 different categories.
Yes.
The first one, those who have already been installing and in many of the museums, and they are the unique of that museums, like Nefertiti Head or Metropolitan Museum, we have the Dandur, or we have Rosetta Stone at the British Museum or Louvre. So again, sometimes you are not going to, it's sometimes part of these museums are free. But again, it's not that free, because they already gain a lot of money from the souvenirs and from the movies and from whatever.
No,
so the business came from them.
When I visited the Louvre, it was
Yeah,
not
and
free.
even, okay, so that's what I would like to say, that, okay, we have the original places for those heritage, which is still suffering from a lot of problems. And if we would like to save this global civilization, we need to be supported financially and technically and whatever. And they are already gain from that heritage commercially and get business and tourism and whatever. So it is something like, who is going to be, it is not going to be a governmental, the new approach. We have something new, which is civilization rights. This is something new, and we based on the Egyptology, so we are the first civilization to start debate. The second is going to be a debate from the Egyptian point of view. It's going to be a public debate and forum, and from the international community itself, we would like to have the same situation, because in the end, you said right now, I pay a lot to visit the Louvre. So between us and between the international community, those who already is going to pay for the ticket, the lovers for the Egyptomania, for our Egyptian, we were going to ask them as a community to the international community, if you would like to save the international heritage, you could save it by your ticket. And part of your ticket should be returned to the original to save it. This is one of the issues which could support.
How that could be done, Dr. Ahmed?
It is not easy. And when I'm starting this issue, I'm starting, and I put now very clear. When you ask about financial support and financial return or whatever, we have to plan it, to have a planning. And the return, I said, from now is going to be 2030. We have this kind of the vision of 2030. But we have to work from now to start to raise our case. And when we are going to start to raise our case about the world civilization rights, especially for the media, it is going to be a debatable issue.
Yeah,
and
understood.
But at least they are going to say that the Egyptian is asking about the rights for those who already commercially benefit.
But I think it will be counter internationally, because the museums are not just packed with Egyptian artifacts. They are from Greece and all over the world. And if they accepted that for Egypt, then every other country would either be starting to claim its property or ask for a share, and then eventually they'll have nothing. And that's the case with the Nefertiti head and some of the artifacts, that they don't want to return it to us, because if they open that door, all the other nations will be claiming it. And when these
of the museums would be almost
because they took it when they were colonizing these nations by force. So all these people will be asking for their artifacts once again.
First of all, it's not going to be an easy task.
No.
Yes.
And when we start, we have to think that we have a power and believe in ourselves. This is the first. The other thing that other countries, they have within their law, and especially for the Greek, they have within their law to prevent those who already commercially benefit from their heritage, and they are claiming, for that. So they already did their job. Within our law, we have a problem. So I would like to say it's not going to be a law issue. It is not going to be an antiques issue, tourism issue. It's collectively. It is a scientific approach for everyone who could share in it.
Yes.
But I will give you an example for something which you just mentioned, that it's going to be claimed by other nations. And when I'm already involved with this proposal, and I started 14 years ago, and it has ups and downs, but on the 24th of April, there was a meeting in Greece by 10 different civilizations. It was India, China, Iran, Iraq, Egypt, Greek, Italy, and Bolivia, Mexico, and Peru. And they started to ask, what is our rights as a civilization towards the other new civilizations? And I was not attending, but when I'm following that issue within the media, they said that we are 40% population of the world, because if you're counting, and we have a lot of problems for our heritage, and to save this heritage, we have to think about a different mechanism than the one which is already running. So it is something like I say to that in Arabic, the risk. This is something which came in the same time to say that what I'm planning and what I'm already involved with the Scientific Research Academy, and they are very, I would like really to very respected to say that for them to accept the proposal, which sometimes is not that easy, it's not an ordinary one, this is unique. This is a pioneer. When I have a discussion with Dr. Mahmoud Sa'ar, and he already the first time he heard about it, we were in Italy, by the way, and I was giving that debate in Italy.
Yes.
Then I applied for the proposal. It is not easy, but we are going to start by 15 days. We are still, they already have been approved, but originally we are going to start. So what I would like to say here in our situation, that it is not going to be easy, but again, it is a responsibility. It is not a responsibility for the proposal, it's not a responsibility for the project, it's a responsibility for all the Egyptians to be or not to be. If we would like to have something for the coming generations, because what happened when all Nefertiti and all the monuments and all that has been moved from the original to others, because unconscious of our grandfathers who was living at that time, they are very weak, they have no, they said that we have a lot, there is no problem, and the others who are aware about the value, they spent a lot of time, a lot of effort to move from here to there. And we are in the same time. We are in the same situation. We have these two choices to say that it is an Egyptian. Everyone believes that it is an Egyptian. But in the same time, if we are watching what is happening now in Iraq and what's happening with the heritage there, what happened in Syria, what is happening in Libya for the heritage, what's already happened in Yemen, they used to change what we said it is solid.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that the scientific research play a very, very tough game on that. A missing heritage created a state which is nearby us. It was a missing, until now is a missing heritage. But they achieved something. And they achieve even within the Bible of the heritage. We have this kind of the history of Banasir Fletcher. He wrote the history of architecture, and the first edition was 1896. So it was before the promising of the state. But on the other hand, when I was teaching, I got a book edited, the 20th edition, in 1996, I found that the first settlement designed in the world, designed in the other state which I mentioned, and the first architecture, okay, it was in the other state. What happened in that, they used to have with it the foundation literature, the book, those who, experts from different, okay, disciplines, and they replaced the word of Palestine with the state. And now it's became something which everyone in the world studied, and it became a fact. So we have to work on our heritage, very careful that one a day, if we are not going from now to say that this is our heritage, it's related to us and related to it, we found it.
Dr. Ahmed, how this initiative or this campaign would be funded?
It's funded again through the National Academy of Science for this first year. And what we're going to achieve, will be transferred from the initiative of a person to be institutional.
Okay.
And we are going to have what we so-called the Civilization Right Fund. This will be within the Scientific Academy.
Yes.
And then it is going to be a competition within Egypt for all the Egyptians, how we could have our rights from outside. The one who is going to participate, he is going to choose one example, cover it from all different disciplines, from the issue, he will choose the original or the replica or the souvenirs for the company, and again, he is going to have a movie.
But that would bring us to the legal situation, because to implement it, we need a legal ground. So do we have any laws to support your initiative, or do we still need to call our parliament or to call for laws that would support it?
Two things of that. The law is something which we believe on it. So if we believe that we have a right to the copyright law, it is something which was developed in the last 20, 30 years. When I started my issue, that was developed, and now it is already stated, so that's why within the copyright law we are not going to achieve something. And the law within Nevada is not going to be implemented in California. So that's why when we shifted to say the law will be case by case from place to place. So that's why this is going, the second phase of this initiative will be next year for international competition. To ask how we're going to have our rights from you. One of the things with this debate, it should be no fight with it, and it could be within a scientific research, and it could be a win-win situation for those who already benefit from our heritage. Because if they are going to say that we compensate the Egyptians, by that, this will going to raise their return. If they were going to fight, it's going to be debate from me. I used to have this debate. I went to China, I went to England, to the US, to Italy, to many places. And even in Cordoba, I started in Cordoba, Argentina. Even it's sometimes found some difficulties, but in the end, you have a point. So this is a starting to say that we have a point, but we have to work on it in a very systematic, scientific approach to achieve a result. Not something just to be everywhere that we are doing, and we have a lot of, that was the stage of the past, which I did it, and I went through it, and it became something everybody was talking about, and it was end with nothing. And that was with the law of our Egyptian law. When they said that the copyright should be a same material, same status. So if you would like to have a copyright for our pyramid, we should have another pyramid exactly the same. And this is within our law. So we lost our opportunity at that time. So now I'm saying that it is not going to be a governmental. If the government would like to support, it is. I'm looking for the human Egyptian who is in the position, not for his position. Okay, I'm not blaming anyone. I blame ourselves as a whole. It's the responsibility of all of us.
Indeed.
So all of us could share in it. It's open for all, and that was the things which we are going to have a competition for all to give ideas how we are going to have a dialogue with the international community. And I'm sure, at least, for a lot of effort, which was not documented, to be documented now, and we leave it to the coming generations, different approaches with different mechanisms. In a time, this at least, if this is going to be the benefit for this project, it's worthy.
Yes, indeed. Dr. Ahmed Rashed, Director of the Center of Sustainability and Future Studies at the Faculty of Engineering, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank
And this is going to be the start. We are just
Hopefully,
before the start, by the way, but we will need more and more campaign and support by the media. And thank you very much for this.
Thank you for your initiative. And now we will be going to a quick break, but we'll be back for more on Breakfast Show, so stay with us.